I promise you won't be disappointed. Welcome home. This is Life by Design Podcast, episode 11, Happy Marriage. We can't talk about life by design without talking about a healthy relationship. And a lot of people have different definition of a healthy, good relationship. It could be relationship with yourself. It could be relationship with your family. It could be relationship with your significant others or your friends. What I want to talk about today is the relationship with your spouse, your other half. And it could be your husband, could be your wife, could be anybody that you hold dear to your heart. Is my husband. We've been together for 10 years and we've been married for 7. This coming May be 8 years marriage, and we actually are expecting a child. I'm actually 4 months pregnant right now, so it's pretty exciting. It's a little bit scary because of the unknown, but it's also really exciting because of the possibility and all the joys and all the fun that we're gonna experience. Today, I'm going to talk about 10 things of what we do to keep our relationship good, healthy, and pretty much I can say our relationship now is much better when we first got together. We have better understanding. I think we're more in love now than we actually first met 10 years ago. Let's talk about the 10 things. So number 1 is communication. Obviously, you have to have good communication with your other half. And what does that mean when people say communication, good communication? It's not screaming, it's not yelling. It's about voicing out your inner thought. And I know it's very difficult for a lot of people because sometimes we're not used to sharing our emotions, sharing how we feel. But I learned many, many times that my husband could not read my mind. So if I want something, I have to say it out loud. And I think one of the things is my personality as well. I can't keep anything inside. If I feel irritated or something that I don't agree on, I would tell him. I would let him know. My husband, on the other hand, he liked to keep everything inside his heart. And many times we have, an argument, and then he would bring out things from months ago that he never brought it up. So I just felt like, why didn't you tell me then? Why did you have to wait so long? But over the year, he learned to share his feelings, to let me know what he thinks, how he feels. So I have a better understanding and we have a better way to communicate. Number 2, definitely trust. Trust, I think, is pretty much a very important component to a relationship. Like my husband and I, we both, pretty much, we are individuals, but we also a force. We also together. And when we're not together, we're working, we're doing things. For me, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm in business. So I meet a lot of people for lunches, dinner. Sometimes I would meet the men for lunches. And if I don't have the trust from my husband, it's going to be really hard for me to do business. And at the same time, if I don't take that trust seriously and, pretty much just kind of run wild with his trust, our relationship wouldn't last either. And then I see sometimes, online, like people would check people's phone to see if they're doing something funny. We never done that. I can literally give my phone to my husband. I have password to all his stuff. He have password to all my stuff. And I can literally give my phone to him a whole day and there's nothing to hide, but he wouldn't know what to do with it either. He wouldn't know. He wouldn't be like looking at through my texts or, my Instagrams and stuff like that, because we both have mutual respect for one another and we both have that trust. Number 3 is doing things together. And people might have different opinion on this, but for me, I think it is really important for a couple to spend time together on some kind of activity that you both enjoy so that you keep the relationship alive and the engagement, I would say. My husband and I, on the other hand, we do everything together. I can say my husband is a white body, meaning he only hang out with me. But we both really enjoy going to the gym. So we go to the gym together. We don't work out together because we have different workout programs. We would get to the gym together. I do my thing, he do his thing. And then when we're done, we would go home together. And lots of other things we do, random date night. We go to movies. We obviously take one another out for dinner. Pretty much just doing a lot of things together. And it's funny, last week we were talking about how people would take like the girls' weekend and the boys' weekend. And we have never done that. I mean, I went on business trip by myself before for like a whole week for training. And my husband also, been to Italy multiple times for his work. But it's not like we're going away partying. We're actually working. So the idea of the girls' weekend trip and a boys' weekend trip for me, I don't know. It just, we never done it ourselves. So I don't know. Maybe in the future, my husband will want to take a boys trip and I would 100% support because he doesn't do anything. He just stay home and do everything with me. Now thinking about it, I don't know how I would feel. Number 4, it's love languages. We all know the 5 love language: acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, and gift. My husband's love language is words of affirmation. If I tell him I love him, I appreciate him, he would be so happy. And sometime when I'm really angry, I would tell him I hate him. It would crush his soul. For me, it's acts of service. If you love me, go do the laundry. If you love me, go fold clothes. Knowing your significant other's love language is really important because you want to love them the way that they want to be loved. Number 5, this one, don't laugh at me, but if you are a busy working couple, you will understand. And that is schedule sexy time. We schedule our sexy time. Think about it. If you are working all the time, if you're a working young adult, you barely have time for yourself, especially if you are in your 30s and 40s. You're literally busy with meetings all day. And then on the weekend, you're probably going to be doing family activity. And if you don't schedule your sexy time, it probably never happened. My husband and I looked at statistic, and I think like married couple have sex maybe 1 or twice a month. That is crazy. So that's why we took this really important step to schedule our sexy time. I would say probably 5 years ago, when I felt like our relationship was not really falling apart, but we were just both really busy individuals and we're just very focusing on building our career. We're just forgetting to spend time together, and then sex just kind of slipped out of my mind because we have such a busy day. We get home just so exhausted and we just don't feel like, oh my gosh, let's have sex. It's just not sexy at all, right? I know scheduling sex is not sexy either, but it's gonna be weird for the first couple weeks. But trust me, after that, things get really exciting because you're getting into this routine. It's just kind of like, you schedule a meeting, you're getting into this routine. You both feel good, having sexy time at a convenient time, and just kind of helping your relationship or helping you to get a little closer. Number 6 is planning our future together. This is really important. I think in the beginning of my career, I was getting into, and I was reading a lot of books and I was listening to all the business podcasts, just pretty much wanted to improve myself. At that time, my husband, who is a corporate employee, just kind of live in his corporate world. And obviously in corporate, they don't teach you to do self-development. They don't really care about what you want to do for yourself. They just care about the company well-being. So I started introduce my husband to the books and a podcast I was listening to, and he wasn't really interested because he was too busy with his work. So I was a little bit upset at the time because I just felt like we are growing apart. What we did was we went to dinner, we sat down, we talked about a future, and we talked about how important it is for me to grow together, and just kind of explain to my husband that it is really important to me if we do this together, if we grow together as a couple instead of individual, because I don't want to have this huge gap when I'm growing and he is not. And I don't think that would be good for the relationship, because I would be going into a different direction and he either gonna go into another direction or just stay where he is. For us, everything in the future plans, there's always my husband and I. There was never a time where, oh, I'm gonna go do this and you can be here, or you can just not come. That's not even negotiable. The next one is be one another biggest support. Sometimes in life, we would approach obstacle and challenging time. And it happened with me at my work, happened with my husband at his work, or just, like a family drama. And my husband so far is doing a very good job of being a supportive half. He's always listen. And, sometime when I bring home a problem, I want him to solve it. I just need somebody to listen. And over time, he learned to listen, give great advice, just help me feel better. Same thing with me, with my husband. A lot of the time, this guy lived a very emotional life. Just like I share with you, he doesn't like to talk about how he feels. He doesn't like to share his feelings, and it's really hard for him to open up. So over time, I have to kind of, taught him to open up, tell me how he feels, so that he doesn't bottle up everything inside and then it just come out at once like vomit. The next one is give one another helpful advice. Love is not about rainbows and butterflies. If you've been in love for a long time, you will understand. And if you're still planning to be with that same person, you will understand. Sometimes you need to have the tough conversation. What does that mean? For example, during COVID, because of working from home, my husband and I was sitting right across from one another, and he was working for a really good company at the time, and he was having meetings, every day, and I was just listening to his meeting because I'm sitting right here doing my work. And the meeting was very unproductive. It was talking about nothing about work. I felt like the direction company was not doing really well. So I told my husband that you need to get out of this company. Your meeting lately just not very productive, and you guys haven't met any deadline or anything. So I don't think this is a company that you want to invest your future in. And he listened. He actually found a new job a couple months later, and he is much happier now. Same with me. Sometimes when I have a difficult situation at work, or the way that I handle a situation not very great, I would come home, share with my husband, and he would give me some really honest opinion and advice, and I would always take it to heart and always very appreciate his honesty. The next one is give each other time to be centered. What does that mean? I think this one is more for me, because I am an introvert trying to be an extrovert. Because of my job, I have to deal with a lot of clients all the time. So I'm very outgoing. I'm really easy to talk to as well. But because I'm an introvert by nature, I need time for myself. I need time alone to recharge. So sometimes when we get into an argument, my husband's instinct is to make up right away and go back to falling in love. For me, it's, I can't just get over something really quickly. I need time to be centered. I need time for myself, think about what happened. So over time, he learned that we need to give each other time to calm down, to think about things before we can come together and have a good conversation. The last one is always choose love over money. I think this one is really important because, divorce rates in the US is so high, and majority of the reason is because of money, because of finance. And so my husband and I made a promise that we always going to choose love, because money comes and goes, and there's going to be a time in your life where you're not going to have any money, or you're going to have very little of it. And if your focus is all about money and forget about relationship, I don't think that's going to make a lasting relationship with anyone. So Sometimes people say, oh, I really love this person, but it's wrong timing. But is it really wrong timing? Or is it just because the money stress was too much bigger to overcome the good relationship? So that is our 10 steps to a happy marriage. Thank you so much for listening today, and I will see you guys next week.